大家好，我是老吴。最近几年咱们老是听到西方媒体还有一些政客吹捧印度，说印度要崛起了，经济怎么好，要取代中国成世界工厂了，等等等等。像苹果都跑去印度开店了，前美国商务部长雷蒙多更是把印度夸上了天。是不是感觉印度形势一片大好，未来可期？今天我想跟大家分享一段有点唱反调的发言。说话的是一位机构投资者顾问，他是印裔加拿大人，以前在印度经商多年，后来因为受不了那边的环境就移民了。在这段话里，他直接就把西方那些吹捧印度的滤镜给打碎了。他认为很多西方人看到的印度是被美化过的，是不加了滤镜的，甚至是刻意营造出来的假象。他先是展示了西方媒体和官员是怎么夸印度的，然后他话锋一转，开始了他眼中的谢氏模式。从孟买那让人头皮发麻的火车，到他自己当年离开印度的真正原因，受不了当地的腐败和低效。他还分析了为啥那么多外国公司跑到印度去投资，最后大多都亏了钱。他给出的答案可能会让你大跌眼镜。他甚至直言，印度的人才正不断流失，腐败正不断的加剧。这段话可以说是非常直接，非常尖锐，充满了他个人的观察和经历。不管你是否同意他的结论，听听这位不同于主流宣传的声音，肯定能让我们更全面、更清醒地认识印度这个复杂的国家。好，咱们一起来听听他是怎么说的。
I'm going to start with certain statements and images and videos of Western bureaucrats, Western media, and Western corporations about their perception of what India is like. Or at least I want to show what their claimed perception of India is. Apple recently opened its first shop in India, in Mumbai, and soon thereafter in New Delhi. The result of which was that CNN reported that everyone in business loves India these days.
Economy fundamentally has really turned a corner. There's something going on in India in terms of industrialization, manufacturing coming back that over beyond the near-term slowdown, really we're looking at very solid fundamentals.
Why do you think that is? That's a very big story that a lot of people have started to talk about, industrial-based manufacturing capacity. Why do you think that is, and does that continue?
It's a big story, and I would argue one of the biggest stories in Asia right now. I've been following Asia for decades, and it was always that India was services-led, services export, services doing very, very well, but the manufacturing sector underperformed. But in India's stage of development, you need manufacturing come in to create those jobs, and that's happening. That's suddenly happening because of the China Plus One strategy, right? It's about foreign investment, and it's about some of the local reforms that the administration has delivered. And suddenly you see kind of the green shoots on manufacturing development. If they can sustain that, then India is really in play for one of the biggest powerhouses in the world, frankly, on manufacturing, if they play their cards right.
First of all, I must say this is a cartoon that has been published in a weekly, in a German weekly. Like in India, Germany has freedom of speech and freedom of press, so basically it's not up to me to comment. But if you want to have my personal view, I must say the cartoon was neither funny nor appropriate. It plays with very old-fashioned cliches, and I would like to invite this cartoonist to come on a metro ride with me in Delhi. Delhi has a metro which is so state-of-the-art that I think many metros in Germany are not as good as Delhi Metro, and the same is valid for the train system. So I think he should inquire a bit more about India and know how state-of-the-art the railway system is.
This is the cartoon that the German envoy was complaining about. A cartoon that I thought was extremely perceptive and showed a very good reality of life in India and a good comparison of India and China. Now let me address the German envoy to India. He said that come and travel in a metro in New Delhi. Now he should have bothered going out of New Delhi, just 20 kilometers outside New Delhi, to really understand what India is like. There's virtually no public transportation in that country. Metros are rare, and when the capital city gets subsidized metros paid off by the rest of the country, that does not represent the country. if he really wants to test out other suburban railways, he should try one in Mumbai, the most wealthy city in India. And let me show you a video of a train service in Mumbai. Exactly the reason why I never ever take a train or any kind of public transportation except for flights.
क्या हुआ? चलो नीचे चलो, चलो माशी से मिलवा दी, आज आपके लिए पूछ रही थी माशी, आ जाओ। अरे नहीं, अरे निखिल चलो ना, आज आपके लिए पूछ रही थी, हो गया, नहीं मिल पाएगी निखिल, मुझे उसके बाद वाली ट्रेन, चलो। वहाँ पर लोग तो चढ़ ही नहीं पा रहे। माशी, माशी, सुनी नहीं रही। माशी को सामान भी है।
मेरे में क्या क्लैरिटी आ रही है?
I had an incredible opportunity to spend more than an hour and a half with Prime Minister Modi, who is, I don't need to tell anyone here, he is the most popular world leader for a reason. He is unbelievable, visionary, and his level of commitment to the people of India is just indescribable and deep and passionate and real and authentic. And his desire to lift people out of poverty and move India forward as a global power is real, and it is happening. But the best part of the meeting for me was this. Anyone who knows Prime Minister Modi, all of you knows, he is a tech guy, and he is deep into the details. So I found myself at his home at 7:30 on a Friday night talking about the details of radio access networks and artificial intelligence, and it was just amazing. And I said to him, and I'll say this to you, in the years to come, there will be two ecosystems of technology. One consistent with our democratic values and another not. And I said to him, the United States and India need to lead the world together in this technology ecosystem. And without missing a beat, after he had traveled all week, he said to me, well, Secretary, AI doesn't stand for artificial intelligence. I said, really? He said, AI is America-India technology ecosystem.
Now, I don't understand what was happening in the mind of Gina Raimondo and what the motivations of the US government is here in her speech. But the fact remains that she did not release the speech that she gave in India to the American audience, because American audience would have immediately sensed a rat there. I don't really fully understand what is she trying to achieve there. But if anyone still harbors a view that India can accept manufacturing moving out of China, if that at all ever happens, my suggestion is don't bother. The two countries are not comparable. But clearly, Gina is lying. She is either clueless, either stupid, or she is just plain lying. The problem with you is that you, as citizens of North America, are getting misguided by these corporations because they want to get business from India, or they want to prove something to the Wall Street, and these bureaucrats, American bureaucrats or Canadian bureaucrats and politicians who want to gain some favor from Modi. You are getting fooled. Before immigrating to Canada, I had set up Indian operations of 2 European companies. This was, of course, more than 2 decades back. While most of my career since immigrating to Canada has been in the resources sector, I have also advised multi-billion-dollar companies on investing in India. To most of those companies, my usual summary, details, and conclusion is don't bother. The reason is that the reason I left India was because I was sick and tired of corruption and dysfunctionality in that country. I had never met in India a public servant, either a bureaucrat or a politician, who did not ask for a bribe. If you want your water to continue to come, if you want your electricity connection to continue, and if you want your mail to be delivered to you, you must pay bribes. If you don't, your life will come to an end in that country. I was sick and tired of corruption in India. Now, I, of course, don't want you to judge India based on what India was like 20 or 30 years back, but at least that is the reason why I left India. I was sick and tired of corruption and dysfunctionality. Now, if Apple had come to me asking me for their advice, I would have said, don't bother. And the reason is, again, very simple. Despite the seemingly seductive market size of the country, which is 1.4 billion people, the problem is that the average GDP of that country is about $2,000 a year, which makes it among the poorest countries on the planet. Now, of course, the way the media romanticizes and glamorizes India does not leave you with that feeling, but it is a country that is among the poorest in the world. The market size is very small. So the number of iPhones that will actually get sold in India will be minuscule. But here is another problem. Most of the GDP is actually accruing to a very small minority of Indians. Most Indians actually live a hunger diet. 800 million people must depend on constant supply of grains by the government. Now, this minority, which can actually afford to buy iPhones, that minority isn't going to confess to other Indians that they don't go to London for their weekend shopping. So my view is that the reason Apple opened their shops in India is not to gain more business, but to show to the Wall Street that there is still growth left in Apple. Virtually every company that I have ever come across that invested in India, a foreign company that invested in India, lost money. And this is for a very simple reason, that they think that India is very seductive in terms of the market size, but also when you look at India from afar, you realize that Indian wages are about $5 to $7 a day, even in urban areas. In rural areas, you get away with a lot less. Now imagine paying $5 a day for a full 12-hour work from people without any vacation, without any sick leave, and without any weekends. The cost of labor looks very seductive. The problem is Indians don't have a work ethic, and Indians are extremely unskilled. That is why when companies come to me about my advice on investing in India, my usual response is, don't bother. Now, something else has happened over the last 30 years. Since globalization started, Indians started leaving the country. The very best of India started moving to the US and Canada and London. The technical people, the tradesmen of India, the plumber and the carpenters started moving to the Middle East, to Malaysia, to Singapore, to Hong Kong, and even to countries like Papua New Guinea. So as time has gone by, the competencies, the average competencies and skill level of Indians have actually gone down, not up. Something else has happened in the government in India. When I was working in India, of course, every public servant asked for a bribe, but there was usually some shame associated with exchanging bribes. You used to use euphemism to exchange bribes. Those days have completely changed. Today, bribes are exchanged openly. They are asked for openly. And the quantum of bribes that are asked for has gone up significantly. It was believed earlier that if public servants in India got paid better, they would ask for less bribes. In fact, the exact opposite has happened. Now that they get paid extremely well, the kind of bribes they want is also extremely well. That is why, had Apple asked me about India, I would have recommended don't bother.
好，这位印裔加拿大人对印度的这番泼冷水式的分析，咱们听完了。他先是把西方主流媒体和政客对印度的美好想象摆出来，然后用他自己的经历观察到的现象，甚至是一些触目惊心的视频来一一进行反驳。他核心的观点很明确，西方看到的印度是加了滤镜的，真实的印度面临着根深蒂固的腐败、制度性的失能、劳动力缺乏职业道德和技能等严重问题。根本不像宣传的那么美好，甚至可能在倒退。他认为外企去印度投资是个坑，连苹果开店都可能只是给华尔街演戏。可以说他的批判非常彻底，也非常尖锐。当然了，这是一家之言，而且带有很强的个人经历色彩。印度是个极其庞大和复杂的国家，肯定也有发展和进步的一面，但这位演讲者提供的这个极度批判性的视角，以及他所列举的那些问题，是不是也确实存在？是不是也值得我们在看待印度时保持一份警惕和清醒，而不是被媒体和政客的宣传牵着鼻子走？这个问题就留给大家自己思考了。好了，今天的分享就到这里，欢迎订阅我的频道，咱们下次见。